Back to regular session.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we go back into regular session. All in favor, let it be known by raising your right hands. Opposed are the same. We're now back into regular session. We're coming out of executive session and no decisions were made. Is there anything that we need to go forward with as a result of the executive session?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the superintendent's administrative contracts for 21-22 school year.
It has been moved and seconded that we approve the superintendent's contract to accept the administrative contracts for the superintendent. Are you ready for questions? Are you ready to vote? All in favor, let it be known by raising your right hands. Opposed are the same. The motion is carried, and we do accept the administrative contracts from the superintendent. Public session. Marble County High School graduation survey results.
Good evening.
Good
As
evening.
was asked last week, we did send out a survey to students that are graduating seniors and to the parents of graduating seniors, and I have the results for you on the board. With 200, okay, I thought they were on the board. With 226 students responding, you can see 89% of these students, 226 student responses, yes, 89% prefer June 12th of 21, and then with the parents, that's the next slide, George, 235 parents responding, it was 90% prefer inside June 12th on the 21st. So I think that goes without saying that we are looking good with an inside graduation on June 12th, 2021, and the principal, he's not here right now, Dr. Watson, will notify and inform everyone of this information immediately, like right now, and then they'll proceed with passing out the tickets, and we will continue. Thank you.
So that means that we'll be having an inside graduation?
Correct.
How many tickets did we do? What was it?
I believe the ticket count is 6, because what we talked about last week was that because we can spread people out throughout the building, we can have the graduation anywhere in the building. The family could have a whole room to themselves if they wanted it.
Mr. Brandt?
So are they guaranteed to get any of those 6 tickets inside the gymnasium?
No, sir. No, sir. The 6 tickets will be inside of the building. I believe students will have 2 tickets for inside the gym guaranteed, and then some overflow, and then you have additional overflow throughout the building.
That's what I meant. So 2 of the tickets the students get will be inside the gymnasium?
That's my understanding.
Okay.
We have 229 eligible seniors, I believe, or 225. I forget the exact number. So if you do that 225 plus times 3, that'll get you less than 1,000 people, which, you know, we can of course hold more than 1,000 people in the gym. Mask up, families sitting with families. We want to do it as responsibly as we can. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, moving forward. The budget presentation for school year 2021-2022.
I'm going to have Sharon Hubbard come and bring some updated information. You have something for me to pass out, or it's just on the?
It's on the.
Okay. Sharon Hubbard.
Good evening, everyone, Superintendent, Board Chair, Board of Trustees. Welcome to our first budget workshop today. I'm going to attempt to use this. It doesn't work. Excuse me. Oh, there it is. Okay, I got it. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay. So some of this information I'm going to share with you this evening are things that we talked about once before in our previous meetings. Our budget priorities include using ESSER 2 funding for learning loss and providing living wage increase for all employees and restoring our retiree salaries completely, among other things, and also attracting and retaining highly qualified staff. These are the budget priorities that have been set for next year's budget. Now, also would like to remind you that our budget for FY22 is built on districts in current student enrollment, which is about 3,700 students. Now, enrollment changes may increase or decrease actual revenues. It depends on enrollment. So our recent events include possible reimbursement of teacher step increase, proposed increase of base student costs from $2,500 to $2,516, and that is a proposal in the Senate. And also refinement of revenue based on current year analysis. This slide is the same from the last previous meeting, projecting our revenue from the Ways and Means. We have a projected revenue of $35,518,930 with a projected anticipated increase of $700,000 from last year's budget.
That would be a shortfall, 700.
It would be an increase to the budget, a possible increase to our budget.
Okay.
I would like to provide an expenditure update. As you know, H 3609 was passed in March by the governor to provide a lump sum teacher step increase, but there may be another annual step increase for the FY22 year. We have to wait on confirmation for that through the Senate. They're still talking about it, and budget talks will resume tomorrow afternoon, so we'll know more about that hopefully by the end of the week. Also, what the Senate is talking about is allowing a $1,000 salary base adjustment on our certified salary schedule. We're also waiting on the Senate to confirm that as well. This slide is not new. Projected expenditures for FY22. Now I would like to let you know that this does include our unfrozen step, but not the proposed additional step or the $1,000 add to base, the information that I just presented on the last slide. So those numbers in salaries and benefits, for instance, represents the step increase cost for the teacher step increase that was funded by the governor in March. And that totaled about $440,000. But as we know more information from the Senate, we will update our numbers accordingly. Again, this slide is also not new. This is the projected impact on fund balance based on our 22 budget. As you can see, our revenues come in at $35,518,000, and our expenditures are $35,341,000, leaving an excess over budget $177,000. So that's with the step increase that's funded by the governor's office. Again, our superintendent recommends that our people that are have advanced degrees be compensated accordingly, and that cost is about $68,000, including benefits. And also, his recommendation is to give a 5% raise to all certified and non-certified staff, which comes at a cost of $1.4 million. This slide is not new either. Again, would like to bring your attention to the cost of each raise, whether it be 1%, 2%, and so forth, and what that cost would be, and what it would do to our fund balance as a result of those percentage increases. You also have the recommendation to give a $1,000 bonus for each employee, which we have about 560 employees in the school district, which costs about $608,000. And this would represent a 2.5% one-time salary increase. Dr. McCoy, you want to say something?
I do. Just a slight correction, not a recommendation for a $1,000 bonus, but something for you to consider in the event that you don't wish to go the route of a percent increase and you want to look at still providing an increase for staff. So as you know, this current year, you gave a $1,000 bonus. I believe that was in November, right after Thanksgiving. That equates to about 2.5%. Now, for some, that's a good chunk of change. It's not a recurring cost. It's something that you can choose to do at the end of October, November, after you get a good idea of what the previous year's spending is, and that's the total cost, roughly $610,000. That does include benefits. That's $1,000 that each employee receives. Now, this is an alternative to the percent raise. It's not my recommendation. I just wanted to have something else for you to think about. My recommendation is 5%, but as you can see, what each percent does to the budget, if you decide to go that route, you also need to know that it is a recurring cost that will take place each year. Not to say that we'll be in the deficit each year to make that happen, but that will be something that has to happen each year.
The 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5% will have to happen each year?
Right now, yes. It would cost somewhere in the neighborhood of that each year. Of course, it goes up each year. And as you can see, it would be $839,000 for 3%, but with a surplus of $177, it comes out to about $660,000. But for an employee, it benefits them if it's attached to their salary because it helps them with retirement down the road.
Let me ask the question a different way to make sure I understand it. So if you give them a 3% raise, or 4% raise, or 5% raise for this year, you will have to do the same thing next year.
It becomes a
It
part
would be a
of,
part of the base.
The salary.
No,
The
no,
new
no, I know
salary.
what you're saying. And the answer, I would think, would be no unless we decide to do it again.
That's the question I'm asking.
Yeah.
You have to
See-
repeat this.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's only if we give a bonus, though.
No.
If we give a raise.
if you give a raise, it becomes a part of your salary.
Yeah, it's a part of the salary, but you don't have to do that again next year, but your salary will
I'm
be.
talking about add on to the 5% next year, another 5% next year.
It just becomes a
No,
part
no,
of the
no, no,
salary.
no.
That 5% just becomes part of the salary.
You
Yeah.
adjust your salary
That's what I'm
schedule
at.
Yeah,
accordingly.
and next
Right.
year, you don't have to do that unless you just want to give them another 5%.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
There you
Would it
go.
cost me us additional 5% next year, or is that just 5% to get
Only
now?
if we decided it.
I got
Only if we decide to. It becomes a permanent thing.
It becomes a part of the salary schedule,
Yeah.
right.
yeah, I understand that part. I just, yeah. Anyway, okay.
So over time, it benefits the employee
Yeah.
with their retirement. Okay. And so tonight, it's just something, tonight, and I know we have a few board members that are not here, and you don't have to make a decision tonight, but we would like to know which direction you'd like us to go. If you want to follow the recommendation of a 5% raise, this is what it'll look like. If you want to do something different, of course, you have some options, but I'm open to finding out how you want Ms. Hubbard to continue to prepare this budget so that when it's time for you to make a vote, we can have it balanced, we can show what's coming out of fund balance, how that's going to look. We're open to other suggestions and recommendations for how we can make it work. But again, this is for you to help decide moving forward.
For me personally, and as long as our employees stay right where they are, they never go anywhere. That salary continues to stay right where it is. You can give them that one-time bonus, and that's good, but their salary is still right where it is. They're never getting an increase, and to me, that's just not helping anybody. I know 2%, 2.5% or 3% isn't much, but it's something. And then next year, when we can look at it again, if we decide to go up another 2 or 3%, if we can afford that, then they can start seeing a difference in their salary as time progresses. But if it stays at where they are, to me, it's not good. If we could take the 2, 2.5, whatever the state's going to give, let us do a 3%. That gives them a 5% increase, and we're only paying 3% of it. Then at the end of the year, as Doc said, if there's anything left at the end of the year where they can get a bonus for Christmas or whenever, then that's something we can look at. But we have to figure out a way, I think we have to figure out a way to make sure the people that work here are getting something back, not just a one-time bonus. Because the bonus could be cut out, but at least that salary still goes, if I'm making sense.
What is the percent for the step increase?
About 2%.
2%. So if we did 3, the state does 2, it's a 5%. Ms. Coach?
So this is going to include certified and
Everybody.
everybody, right?
Everybody.
Right. Now, the state, Sharon, you can talk about that. State reimburses us for, go ahead,
For teachers, only certified staff.
Yeah, but we'll be giving this to
to everyone.
Everybody.
Even though, the state reimburses for certified, I think it's important that we, in situations like this, we do our best to treat all employees the same. Loaf of bread costs the same for everyone, regardless of where you are on the pay scale.
So 2.5% is 1,000. What would 3% be? Do you have that number?
It's right there.
I mean, that's, yeah, you got 660,000, but the $1,000 is a 2.5%. What would be 3% would be what? 1,200, 1,150?
It depends on their salary.
3% would be,
Yeah,
it would cost us $839,000.
The question was, what would the impact on each individual employee be?
I don't think you can, it would, like
It would
Mr.
depend
Brandt
on the
said, it
salary.
would depend on the salary.
It depends on the
The better question is, how much would it cost the district?
The district.
And that number is right there,
Yeah, I understand that,
$839,000.
but you got $1,000.
That's just a bonus if he decides to give a bonus. If
But how you know that's going to be 2.5% if you don't know the person's salary?
it's
Same
based
thing.
on, I would think
You
it's
just
based on
round
the
it
total
off.
budget.
Yeah, on average, it's,
On an average.
yeah, on average, that's what it comes out to.
Yeah.
Mr. Branch?
Well, I would be for the 5%. I think our staff deserves it, all staff. I think we've lost teachers, especially to other districts, because we can't keep up with the other districts' pay scale. And I think if we need to take that dive and go ahead and do it.
Well, again,
I
it's just-
agree. I agree with what Mr. Branch has said, but there's something else that I want to say. There's a piece of the puzzle that we constantly avoid talking about, and Ms. Hubbard has alluded to it on several of her presentations about millage not being raised in 10 years. If we do something with the millage, then we don't have to wrestle and fight hard to try to balance a budget, because everybody is putting into the pot. And it's going to come to the point where that's got to happen for this district to grow.
Well, not everybody puts into the pot. Only people that own property.
Well, it still needs to be done. I own property just like everybody else own property. I don't mind because it's for our children.
And I think that's part of what you're going to be talking about as a way of revenue.
Right, that's not in our presentation.
It's not in the
It's not in this presentation,
But it
but
was
we
in
can
the
certainly
last
look at
Yeah.
our millage increase. We haven't raised millage in over 10 years.
And if I'm thinking straight, 1 mil equates to about $58,000.
About 42, operating mill is 42,000,
42?
about $42,000.
Okay.
I'm stuck in between 3 to 5, so I'm leaning at 4. And I think it needs to be done. It needs 4% is a good step. And we still don't have to finalize it until we know where all our funding is coming from and know
Yes,
where,
sir.
because we still have time, right?
That is correct.
Yeah. So if we could do that, obviously, the majority of the peers are interested in an increase in salary.
If you want to hang on to your teachers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it. I agree. You can't live here, you can't live anywhere without making money. You got families to take care of. And I had a discussion today, I couldn't be a teacher, so I bless those that are. I couldn't do it. I can buy dope, I can sell dope, I can do a whole bunch of stuff. But I can't do children, not like that. So I applaud those folks who
Can you
can
bring
do
us
it.
He doesn't mean he does that. I just want to make sure I
I'm talking
clear
about
that
as a
up.
law enforcement officer, let me make that clear.
Tape is running, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The table's running. I want to clear that up.
after we decide on what the state's gonna do with the other things, and we'll look at it with where we will be at with the budget with the 3%, the 4%, and the 5% after maybe a couple of weeks, a week from now. When's our next meeting?
Next meeting is May 3rd, Monday.
Next
Okay,
week.
we'll come back on Monday and hope maybe they made a decision on something that could help us out.
Right, and then they'll definitely make some decision by May 17th.
That
So
we
we
know
have,
where our shortfall is and where we stand,
well, we know where the shortfall is.
Right.
how much.
I think with our Senate proceedings starting tomorrow at noon, I'm not sure, I'm hoping that it's soon that we get that information to present, but as Dr. McCoy alluded, we do have a May 3rd and we also have a May 17th. So May 17th will probably be a better date to present that information, if it's okay with you.
We're looking at obviously doing an increase of 4 to 5% and finding the revenue to be able to sustain it, not just for this coming year, but for years to follow, because I know this ESSER money will be for 3 years.
Yes.
At the end of those 3 years, can we and will we be able to continue to sustain what we're doing? That's the important thing. And
Yes, sir.
obviously, millage comes into play. And a few other things will probably come into play. What really, and I pray that comes into play, is that we begin to get more and more kids back into our community, which would be a great help to us. That will bring up a whole lot. If we can find our missing kids and find new kids to bring them back with them, I think that's the most important thing that we can do. If we can get the teachers, we can get the kids, I think we can start seeing things, again, move on up, and that's the most important thing that we can do. Kids will make a difference for us.
Okay, do you have any other questions regarding this slide?
See you Monday.
Okay, so options to offset costs of superintendent's recommendation, of course, is to consolidate positions through attrition, freeze non-essential hires, transfer funds from fund balance, and I have that twice, but also to increase revenue and analyze opportunities to utilize ESSER 2 funding. So as you indicated, ESSER 2 funding, we have about $8.8 million, and we have already started using those funds to address learning loss. So there are some opportunities there that we could use our ESSER 2 funds to bear the brunt of the general fund balance.
Give me an example of a non-essential hire.
And I thought I took that out of there because it's hard to quantify what non-essential is until you get to a point when you say it's not as essential. Let me try to do as best I can with it. As you know, the State Department has a formula for positions that should be in a building, whether it's classroom teacher, number of admin staff, number of clerical staff, et cetera. We have here in the district an abundance of people in certain situations. So if and when they leave, we may not consider it to be essential to hire someone just because someone was in that position. So that, in essence, is attrition. But again, if I have 4 secretarial positions and my numbers don't dictate I need that, I'm not going to just place someone there just because some person leaves. So that's about the best example I can give you. But it's attrition. I thought I took that.
That's what I was getting ready to say. When I look at attrition and non-essential,
Yeah,
it's pretty much
correct.
the same thing.
Correct. That's my error. I thought I took that out.
I have a question regarding the expenditure update. It said salary base adjustment of 1,000 on certified salary schedule. Is that going to be funded by the state, or is that something we have to absorb?
Well, it's proposed by the state. They're proposing to fund it as well.
Okay.
But that would just be for certified
Right.
staff.
Any other questions for Ms. Hubbard?
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
If I can, and I know we're at the end of the meeting, Connie, do you have that presentation? If I could just have a point of privilege, Board Chair, I'd like to showcase our students along with the president and student body from the University of South Carolina today here at Marlboro County High School. As this shows, and some of you may have seen it live, you will see our students, about 130, 9th, 10th, some 11th, some 12th grade students having a chance to not only talk with the college president, but talk with students who are currently enrolled, who have signed up to be mentors for them. One of our 3 initiatives, as you know, is mentorship. The chance to be able to share email addresses, phone numbers, and have someone that's currently navigating the day-to-day life of a college student is going to be big. Our students now have access and have been exposed to something that they previously had not been, which of course we're hoping will provide them with opportunities for post-secondary studies, whether it be at the University of South Carolina or any 2- or 4-year college here in the state of South Carolina, or anywhere in the world. So we just had a great day today. Luke Rankin Jr. Helped us spearhead this. This is, by the way, is something that you have to be selected to be a part of. There are currently only 3 districts in the state that right now have this nurturing relationship with the college, and happy to bring that to Marlboro County.
And one of the mentors in the program has roots here in Marlboro County. Her grandparents live in Mr. Coachman's district. Isaiah Kelly's granddaughter is one of the mentors, the young lady right there in the middle with the all that hair on her head.
I used to have hair like that.
In which life?
So again, just wanted to showcase this because I thought it was a big deal. Again, one of the things I'm most excited about is at the conclusion of the day, it was easy to tell the students that were a part of it because they each had a swag bag filled with USC goodies. But the biggest thing is if you stop them and ask, hey, how was it today? It was great. It was great. Did you learn anything? I did. Did you make some connections? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's huge because that excitement that was part of the 3 seminars, one was financial literacy, one was leadership and ethics, and the other was STEM. They had 3 seminars that they rotated. So each student had a chance to be a part of 3 different seminars today, being taught. Well, it was put on, I'll say put on, produced, and taught by staff at the University of South Carolina. So, fine and proud day here in Marlboro County. Thank you.
Tell them about what almost happened to you.
Which part?
Doc and I were standing in the Commons area, and the Gamecock bus driver came up, and then he asked, where should I park the bus? And so I was directing him to the bus area, and Doc said, and the Clemson bus driver's waiting on you in the back. He said, where do I park the bus? And he looked at Doc, I started to knock you out.
You know, we're a lot of Clemson fans in this area, so I wanted him to know to be careful just in case Clemson's in the back with the bus driver. And he said, I started to knock you out. But another thing that was great too, and I think if you watch the replay, Dr. Caslin, President Caslin, really embraced the hashtag 345 motto. He thought it was something that was endearing, well enough that he wanted to include it in his presentation. And he said he was thankful to have the opportunity to know exactly what it was and what it meant. So that just goes to show again how it's bigger than any individual. What we're doing here is work that will last for many years to come, well beyond our time here in Marlboro County. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to thank everybody who was involved in these endeavors today and for the time that was spent. And hopefully we'll continue to do these things to bring Marlboro County closer to the forefront of everything that's going on in education and in everything that we're doing in our community to show our interest in children and our interest in our community. I'll thank you, Dr. McCord and Dr. Watson and anyone else who was involved in making this happen today. If we could do it more often, I'd love to see if we can continue to do it.
This is a continuing program, so they'll be back, they'll be here, and we'll be there.
Okay.
When COVID lifts, we're going to take those 130, we're going to take those 130 students to the campus, but before then, they will engage in Zoom, lives, and then USC will be back here,
Okay.
or U of SC.
Is anything else from anyone else?
Thank you.
Thank you. If not, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Chair, I offer you a motion that we adjourn for the evening.
It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn for the evening. All in favor, let it be known by raising your right hands. Opposed is the same. We are adjourned.